You wake up because the room is too quiet. Not peaceful quiet, wrong quiet. The kind of silence that makes you open your eyes before you even understand why. You stare at the ceiling. It looks unfamiliar. Smooth white panels stretch above you, with thin lines of blue light running through them like veins. You sit up. Your head hurts. You don't remember falling asleep here. You don't remember coming here. You look around. There's no bed frame, no nightstand, no charger, no phone. Just a transparent wall, a strange glass door, and a city outside that you don't recognize. You walk toward the window. Then you stop, because outside, there is no city you know. There are towers everywhere. Not 20-story buildings, not 50-story buildings. Towers so enormous that their upper floors disappear into the clouds. Some buildings are kilometers high, connected by glowing bridges suspended hundreds of meters above the ground. And between them, something moves through the sky. You stare harder. Cars. They're flying. Hundreds of them. Silent vehicles moving between buildings in perfectly organized streams. No traffic lights, no horns, no roads packed with people. Just layers of traffic moving through the air. You step backward from the window. Your first thought is simple. This can't be real. Then you notice a date displayed across the glass. June 18th, 2100. You laugh. It has to be some kind of joke. A simulation. A movie set. Maybe you've been unconscious and somebody is messing with you. You touch the glass. The date disappears. A new message appears. Good morning. Then another. You have been unconscious for 74 years. Your stomach drops. You stare at the message for several seconds. Then you whisper the only thing your brain can produce. What? The glass responds immediately. Current year, 2100. Your recorded age, 26. Biological age, 26. Identity status, unverified. And that's when the fear begins. Because you weren't supposed to be here. You were living in 2026. You remember your phone. You remember the internet. You remember electric cars beginning to spread everywhere. You remember people arguing about artificial intelligence. You remember your normal life. And now you're standing inside a building that shouldn't exist for another 74 years. You look outside again. This time you notice the people. They look human. Mostly. They're walking on enormous platforms, thousands of feet above the ground. Some are wearing almost invisible devices around their eyes. Others have robotic assistants following beside them. A woman walks past a window and speaks to the air. A soft, artificial voice answers her. You can't hear the conversation, but you can see the world responding to her. Doors open before she reaches them. Elevators arrive before she calls them. Information appears in the air around her. The entire city seems to know what people want before they ask. You finally find a door. It opens without a handle. You step outside. The hallway is enormous. There are no advertisements, no signs telling you where to go. Instead, the walls themselves display information based on whoever is walking past. When you approach, the wall becomes blank. Then a message appears. Welcome. Under it, unknown historical identity. You freeze. Historical? You say the word quietly. A voice answers from somewhere above you. Yes. You look around. Who said that? I did. A small artificial intelligence interface appears in front of you. It's not a robot. It's just a floating face made from light. It looks almost human, but not quite. Where am I? You ask. New York Metropolitan Vertical District. You stare at it. New York? The AI pauses. The geographical region formerly known as New York. Formerly. That word bothers you. You walk toward the elevator. The door is open. There are no buttons inside. You step in. Ground level, you say. Ground level no longer exists as a primary residential zone, the AI replies. Would you like to travel to level 42? Then he looks confused. He whispers something into the device on his wrist. You hear a response. Historical anomaly confirmed. You turn around. What did you call me? He doesn't answer. Instead, his device scans you. A light passes over your body. Then his expression changes. You're from 2026. You nod slowly. Yes. He takes a step backward. That's impossible. And suddenly, people are looking at you. One person becomes 3. 3 becomes 10. Someone starts recording. A child points at you. A woman whispers, "He's real." You don't understand. What's happening? The man finally says, "You're the oldest living example of a person from before the transition." What transition? Nobody answers immediately. Then the AI beside you speaks. The transition occurred between 2048 and 2063. What happened? The AI doesn't respond. Tell me! Your historical database access is restricted. You stare at it. Why? Because you were classified as a temporal origin individual. You don't know what that means, but you know it doesn't sound good. They take you somewhere. Not a police station, not a hospital, something completely different. A building beneath the city. The walls are white. There are no windows. A doctor walks in. He looks maybe 40 years old. You ask his age. He laughs. I'm 137. You think he's joking. He isn't. Medical technology has changed everything. Aging hasn't been completely defeated, but lifespans have increased dramatically. Cells can be repaired. Organs can be regenerated. Some diseases that terrified people in 2026 are almost forgotten. People don't simply visit hospitals anymore. Their bodies are continuously monitored by microscopic medical systems. Your doctor looks at your scan. His expression becomes serious. You haven't aged. I know. No, you don't understand. He zooms in on the scan. Your cellular structure is exactly what our historical models predict a 26-year-old human from the early century should look like. So? He looks at you. So you're biologically untouched by 74 years of time. You suddenly realize what that means. Everyone you knew is gone. Your parents, your friends, the people you went to school with. Anyone who was alive in 2026 is almost certainly dead. You ask the doctor to find someone, anyone. You give him a name. He searches. Nothing. Another name. Nothing. Another. Finally, he looks at you. There are historical records. Can I see them? Yes. A screen appears. You see a photograph of someone you recognize. Your friend. Older. Much older. The record says they died decades ago. You stare at the screen. Your friend lived a normal life, had children, grandchildren, and eventually disappeared into history. You are the one who didn't. For the first time since waking up, you feel completely alone. Then they show you the world you missed. The AI opens a historical timeline, 2030. AI becomes embedded into nearly every major industry. 2038. Autonomous transportation becomes dominant. 2045. The first generation of practical synthetic organs becomes widely available. 2052. Human-machine interfaces become common. 2061. The world's largest cities begin constructing vertical districts. 2070. Average human lifespan passes 100 years in several countries. 2080. Most routine jobs are performed by autonomous systems. 2090. Humans begin living in permanent orbital habitats. 2098. The first city on the moon becomes economically self-sufficient. You stare at the timeline. We were worried about flying cars. The AI responds, they arrived. We were worried AI would take people's jobs. It did. We were worried people would stop talking to each other. The AI pauses. That prediction remains statistically complicated. You almost laugh. Almost. Then you ask the question you've been avoiding. Why was I brought here? Silence. The AI doesn't answer. Why me? Still nothing. Finally, the screen changes. A classified message appears. Project Recall. Your heart starts beating faster. What is that? The AI says, a discontinued experiment. You stare at it. What experiment? In 2096, researchers attempted to recover biological information from the past. From the past? Yes. How? The AI pauses for several seconds. The experiment was not designed to transport a human. You look at the doctor. He looks uncomfortable. Then how did I get here? Nobody answers. Then the AI says something that makes your blood run cold. We don't know. You sit completely still. You weren't chosen. You weren't invited. You weren't supposed to wake up. Somehow, a person from 2026 appeared in 2100. And now the future has a problem. Because you're not just a person. You're evidence. Evidence that time may not work the way they thought it did. Scientists begin studying you. Governments become interested. Corporations want access to your biological data. Historians want to interview you. People want to see you because you are something they've only ever seen in textbooks. A real person from the beginning of the century. They ask you what 2026 was like. You tell them about phones, cars, social media, streaming. You tell them people still went to offices. People still waited in traffic. People still stood in grocery store lines. They laugh at some of the things you describe. But then you ask them something. What happened to money? The room goes quiet. You learn that money still exists, but the system is completely different. Most basic necessities are automated. Energy is abundant. Manufacturing is almost entirely autonomous. People still work, but many work because they want to, not because they need a paycheck to survive. You ask about countries. They still exist, but political boundaries have changed. You ask about war. They don't answer directly. You ask about religion. Still there. Family. Still there. Love. Still there. Death. Still there. And somehow, that makes the future feel less alien. Then you discover something terrifying. You aren't the only thing they don't understand. They can't find another person like you. Not one. Every database says the same thing. Every genetic archive. Every historical record. Every medical scan. You are the only confirmed human alive who originated in 2026. One person from your time survived. You. And now everyone wants to know what happened to the past. You begin walking through the city. You see children learning from AI teachers. You see doctors repairing organs with machines smaller than a grain of sand. You see people boarding vehicles that disappear vertically into the sky. You see buildings so tall they create their own weather. You see gardens growing on the sides of skyscrapers. You see humans and artificial intelligence working together so naturally that nobody thinks about it anymore. Everything you once imagined as science fiction is ordinary. And yet, one thing hasn't changed. People still look up at the night sky. One evening, you're standing on the roof of a tower almost 2 kilometers above the ground. The city stretches beneath you. Lights cover the horizon. Vehicles move silently through the air. The moon hangs above everything. You think about 2026. You think about the person you were before you went to sleep. You wonder what that person would think if they could see this. Then the AI appears beside you. "We found something." You turn. "What?" "A record from 2026. Your heart races. "What record?" The AI projects an image. It's you, but not a photograph. It's a security recording from the day you disappeared. You watch yourself walking down a street in 2026. You look normal. You look alive. You walk into a building, and then the video ends. The AI zooms into the timestamp. "What?" you ask. "The timestamp is wrong." "How?" "It says the recording was created in 2100. You stare at it. Your mind stops. "That's impossible." The AI answers, "That's what we said about you." And suddenly, the future doesn't feel like a place you accidentally woke up in. It feels like something that was waiting for you. Because maybe you didn't travel 74 years forward. Maybe you were sent here. Maybe someone in 2100 already knew you existed. Maybe your disappearance from 2026 wasn't an accident at all. You look across the city. Towers disappear into the clouds. Flying vehicles move between them. Humans live longer than your generation ever imagined. Artificial intelligence runs entire industries. Cities stretch into the sky. The future has everything you thought humanity would eventually build. Except one thing: an explanation for you. You arrived in a world where everyone knows the past better than you do. They have records of your century. They have simulations of your cities. They have reconstructed your technology. They have studied your culture. But you're the only person who actually remembers living there. And now you realize what your real problem is. You don't belong in 2100. But you can't go back to 2026. Everyone you knew is gone. Everything you knew has changed. And the only people who might know how to send you home are the same people who don't understand how you got here. So you stand on the roof of the tallest building you've ever seen, looking at a civilization that once existed only in your imagination. And somewhere below you, millions of people continue living ordinary lives in the year 2100. They don't know your name. They don't know where you came from. They don't know why you survived. But one thing is certain. Tomorrow, the scientists are going to try to send you back. And if they succeed, you may be the first person in history to travel through time twice. If they fail, you'll spend the rest of your life in a future that was never supposed to be yours. And the strangest part? You're only 26. To everyone else in 2100, you're history. To yourself, you're just someone who went to sleep one night and woke up 74 years too late.